What's up, everybody? It's your boys Cam and T back at it again with another episode of the Cam and T podcast. I am your co-host, Tony T Time West. If you're watching this on YouTube, Twitter, anywhere, you feel me? Go ahead, hit that like button. If you're watching this on if you're listening to this on like Spotify, whatever, go ahead and give us a 5-star rating. It does get, you know what I'm saying, the algorithm going for us. I am your co-host, Tony T Time West. We got my brother from another mother, Cam. Happy podcast day, brother. How you doing?
Happy Pod Day, bro. I'm doing good, man. I can't complain. How about you?
I can't complain, bro. Pretty good overall. Typical Tuesday. Glad to be back on the pod, bro. Had a pretty good weekend. Can't complain for the most part, for real. So I'm doing pretty good, bro. I can't complain. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So I'm doing pretty good. You know, around this time of year, the weather always get kind of wonky because it'd be cold sometime, it'd be hot sometime. Like I don't know if you remember last week, it was cold. It was hot, excuse me. And then this week,
yeah.
it's been like kind of, I don't know how it is in Georgia, but it's been kind of chilly here, bro. So I
Yeah.
don't know. It's kind of been weird lately. So I don't know,
It's raining
man.
here.
But you said what?
I said it's gonna be rainy here all week.
Yeah, that too. We supposed to be getting rain, I think, tomorrow, and then Saturday too. We supposed to be getting rain like all day type situation. So I don't know what's going on, but we'll just go from there, man. But anyway, bro, glad to give y'all another episode. You know what I'm saying? As always, we got a lot to talk about tonight. Obviously, the NBA playoffs is where we're gonna kind of start the pod at. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot going on in the NBA right now, so we'll obviously get into that. Obviously, the NFL draft was probably the biggest sporting event of this past weekend. We obviously gonna jump into that, and then you know what me and you got to talk about. Clemson having 9 players drafted and only having 7 wins all season. We definitely got to get into that. What does that make Dabo look like? What's the criticism on Clemson? And did this maybe even help Clemson potentially recruiting wise too? You know, the fact that it was trash and you still put 9 people in the league.
Right.
So again, that's something that we'll kind of dive into later. You know, but yeah, man, I just kind of wanted to get a rundown of the show, and I'm trying to tweet out that we live right now, so y'all kind of manage here with me while I'm doing this. But yeah, anyway, let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's talk basketball playoffs first. Let's go ahead and jump into that. Now, Cam, do you want to start with your team first in particular in y'all series? Do you want to kind of start there?
Yeah, that's cool with me.
Yeah, so
I'm down. I'm
let's
down.
start with the Nuggets and the Wolves. Y'all was down 3-1, and I thought y'all was cooked, and you'll give your opinion in a second. Y'all got a win last night, 125 to 113. Now it's a situation where it's 3-2. But you talked about this, I think, last week in the pod, how the Wolves have kind of like been a thorn in y'all's side for the last couple of years, especially since like Ant has developed and got better. What do you think
Right.
about the series, bro? What you think gonna happen?
So first and foremost, I want to say I'm extremely disappointed in the Nuggets,
Mm.
and I'm embarrassed to be quite frank with you that by the behavior of our head coach and our superstar center. I think they've been moving very soft this whole series, and I'm not impressed at all. Um, win or lose, I want David Adelman on the hot seat. I'm a call for his job. I want him fired
Mm.
because I again this Nuggets team, this specific Nuggets team, they should be NBA champions this year. I don't care about OKC. I don't care about the Spurs. I don't care about the Pistons. I don't care about the Knicks. I don't care about none of them teams. This Nuggets team is just as good as everybody else. And you can't say, oh well, the Thunder exists, the Spurs exist. Okay, the Nuggets exist. You got the best player in
Yeah.
the world on your team. You know what I'm saying? You got a deep bench. You got guys that can shoot you out the gym. I mean, you got a 6 man of the year candidate. You got, you got a lot of good players on your team, but there's no intensity. There's no defense. I mean, it's really embarrassing. Them dudes, they let a role player from Minnesota, Jalen McDaniels, talk all this trash and then come back and allow him to back it up in 2 straight games. You know what I'm saying? So I think the way that they've handled the situation has been absolutely embarrassing. So with that being said, I do think obviously Anthony Edwards is out. He got a bone bruise in his knee, so he's not going to be playing for a couple weeks. And then Dante DiVincenzo unfortunately tore his Achilles. So I think that, of course, leads people to believe that the Nuggets should have the upper hand in this series moving forward, and they should, you know. But again, it's just one of those things where it's like you can't really hang your head high on beating the Timberwolves, coming back from 3-1 and beating the injury plagued Timberwolves squad when they missing their top two of their top scorers. You know what I'm saying? They
Yeah.
missing their leader and their best player in Anthony Edwards, and then they missing somebody that was shooting us out the gym in the first 3 games. So again, like I said, I've been embarrassed by this performance. And I told, and like I said, we talked about it last week. I figured the series would be tough. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think it was going to be a cakewalk for the Nuggets. Didn't think we was winning in 5 or 6. I thought it might go to game 7 anyway. But I didn't think we would look to the point where we was about to get gentleman swept. You know what I'm saying? And even worse, reverse swept because we won game 1 and we was about to lose 4 straight, in my humble opinion. So again, I'm calling for David Adams' job already. I'm tired of it. I don't like the way that he's handled these press conferences. I don't like the way he's handled the team. And again, he's a nepo baby, and he's never faced any type of adversity in his life. So you can tell just by the way that he's been approaching this series. And again, it's very much not appreciated as a Nuggets fan. So so that's where I stand on Denver right now. Like I said, I'm very upset, very displeased with what I've seen on the court.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you. I mean, again, y'all came in as the higher seed at 3. They at 6, and like you said, y'all kind of just really, I'm gonna be honest, y'all been a disappointment this year, really. And it's kind of crazy too, because Jamal Murray's having like his best statistical year.
Yeah, me
And
too. Jokic too, really.
Jokic
Both
too. Yeah, like
you know
both
what I'm
of
saying?
them. They having their best
Yeah,
statistical year, and y'all might get 1 round booted, which is
yeah,
kind of insane. So
tough.
no, I'm kind of with you. I know it's like dudes, what, first year on the job or whatever. He
Yeah,
still might have to get canned though, because that's kind of, to have that type of talent,
and
that's kind
and
of
and
crazy.
and this the thing, in my opinion, T. And we'll move on to actually this would be a perfect segue to y'all series because
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen this, but they said Mike Brown is on the hot seat even if the Knicks made the finals. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's ridiculous because again, he's a coach that's in his first year. Now, of course, you know, is if the Knicks get bounced round 1, I can completely understand why he would be on the hot seat for that. But are you saying if they make the NBA finals somewhere that they haven't been in almost 30 years,
Yeah, that's
they haven't
stupid.
they haven't been to the NBA finals this entire century, and you're telling me that Mike Brown would be on the hot seat for that? Like that's the type of stuff. Obviously, he's a black man. We know
Yeah.
what comes with that. But even still, NBA coaches as a whole, they get fired for succeeding. You know what I'm saying? And I just think it's funny how somebody like a Mike Brown could be on the hot seat for making the NBA finals and potentially fired next season versus somebody like a David Adelman who's severely underperforming with this Nugget squad against this Timberwolves team. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that's ridiculous, to be quite frank with you. But give me your thoughts on your Hawks and Knicks series, because to keep it short and sweet on my behalf, I think y'all got probably one of the best series out right now. Because
Yeah,
that's a good one.
it's definitely one of the more competitive ones. I felt like we got punched around the other day ago. It was unacceptable, flat out just beat to the ground, and we just got out physical, which tied them back up. Which that was a desperation game for New York. They had to have that game, or they were going to
Yeah,
be down 3-1. It would have been probably Jover. So they need that game. So now it's like a best of 3 situation. Again, I'm kind of being a little lenient because I feel like we, as and I say we as in the Hawks, I feel like we're in a rebuild anyway. Like we're in a rebuild slash retool. We wasn't even really supposed to be here, to be quite frankly honest with you. So it's like I'm not really mad, even if we, because I'm gonna be honest. I think the Hawks lose the next 2 games. I think we're done, to be honest. Especially if Jalen Johnson doesn't wake the hell up, we're cooked
yeah,
because he's been terrible this series. And I get it; it's
yeah,
his first time in the playoffs, being the main man. And y'all know me; I'm a Jalen Johnson stan, but he has not been good in the playoffs this year, like at all. Like CJ
right.
McCollum has literally been like carrying us, which is crazy. It's not 2017. You feel me? Like, so kind of just interested to see how that goes. But I think we probably lose the next 2 games and we go out in 6, which again, I feel like that's pretty respectable for what we have. I'm not like a lot of other Hawks fans that are like panicking and freaking out right now.
Yeah.
But it would be great. Like, yeah, if we win the series and get the extra experience, yeah, I'd be extremely excited. But I'm also realistic, which I'm like that with all my sports teams. Like, I'm just a realistic person when it comes to that. So again, we'll see what happens. I think we probably lose tonight in New York, and they probably come back to Atlanta and beat us.
Beat you.
Yeah, in the next game. That's what I'm
Can,
thinking.
can I ask? So and I want to say this too, that I think y'all are in a pretty good spot as well,
Yeah,
because only you and the Thunder have lottery picks in terms of playoff
correct,
teams this year.
correct.
So if I'm not mistaken, so regardless of what happens, you're getting a lottery pick one way or another. So
Correct.
you could very well, it probably won't happen, but you could very well even end up with the number 1 overall pick. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Number 2, number 3. I
I
think the
mean,
pick
this
is
is
raw
this
too.
is one of the deeper
So
classes that we've seen in
it's
years.
a great
I mean,
class. So
there's
even
like
if you get
potentially like 7 or 8 really, really good players in this
right,
class. So even if we get like the 6th or 5th pick, we
and
can work with that, you know?
in my
So
opinion, I think for the Hawks, the best thing that you all can do, if you get a, like you said, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, if you can land a Darius A. Cuff Jr. with that pick,
yeah,
it's over, bro. It's over.
yeah.
It's over. Y'all will be well on your way to taking over the East in the next couple of years if you can land a player like that of
Yep,
his
if he
caliber.
pans out, yeah, I can see. I think
Yeah,
a big
yeah,
man too is kind of needed too. I wouldn't be mad if we get like a big man. I don't want like a Kevin Durant situation, like more like a center.
yeah, of
But
course. Yeah.
again, if we got somebody like that, I could see something working
Shoot.
for us. But
Yeah. I say yeah, I think anything like that. And it just blows my mind that the transition into the series that just wrapped up last night.
mhm.
If you was done, I didn't know if you
Yeah, we
was
can go ahead and
yeah.
transition to that. Yeah,
Uh it blows my mind that this team had their way with a pretty decent Suns team.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? They definitely played well above their expectations. I don't think they should be holding their head down, in my opinion, because they played very well throughout the season, and they really shouldn't have been in the playoffs, period, but they made it. And I think it just blows my mind that this Thunder squad absolutely boat raced them for 4 games straight, and they can still even get a lot. They can win the championship this year and get a lottery pick.
yeah.
But what are your thoughts on the Thunder? You know what I'm saying? How you think about this series?
We
And
can make it
what's their
short.
outlook?
Honestly, the Thunder. I've been telling y'all this since the season ended last year. They're winning. They're winning another title. I mean, I don't.
Mm,
I think the Spurs could potentially be in their way. Boston, obviously, you know how I feel about them, but the Thunder are the best team in the league, bro. Like it's really. I don't even really feel like I need to go into any more depth than that. Like they're the
yeah,
best team in the league, bro. Like I think there's like 2 other teams that could really compete with them, and I think that's the Spurs, and I think that's Boston.
Boston. And that's it.
Yeah. Everything else is going through Oklahoma City, bro. So it wouldn't be surprising at all if in 2 months we're talking about them winning a second
They
ring
holding another
again.
chip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've been saying
Fair
that
enough.
since the podcast last year when the season ended. So yeah.
Fair enough.
That's my thoughts on it though. But I mean, shout out to the Suns for competing. They
Yeah.
competed in those games, but yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of let's keep it in the West. Speaking of them, I think Spurs and Blazers back on tonight, right?
Yep, they are. Yep.
Give me your thoughts on that series. If you've seen what have you seen? I think it's what is it? Is it
It's 3-1.
2-2? It's
No,
3-1.
it's
Okay,
3-1.
okay,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
okay.
Because
So
Portland was up big the other night ago, and then
that's right.
Spurs
And then,
hawked them down. I actually
that's
watched
right.
that
I
game.
remember that. Yeah,
Spurs
I
hawked
remember
them
that.
down. So
That's right.
again, it goes back to what I'm saying. The Spurs are just they different, bro. They like that this year. Like it just is what it is. Like they just like that. Like it's nothing you can take from them. I think they're a really good basketball team. I think they're a top 3 basketball team right now. The way they're playing in the
Yeah.
league. And you just gotta give them credit, bro. Like they just good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I do want to say I think Portland has also did some good things too. Like I think Scoot Henderson has showed a little bit of some flashes in a couple of these games. So shout out to him. But again, man, to me, it just feels like the Spurs are about to win this thing tonight, and it's going to be over. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
and really, you can say that for the rest of these. Like, not the transition, because I'll let you get your take. Celtics and 76ers, it feels Jover. Like,
Yeah.
that series is ending tonight at about
And it's
9:30. Like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even really have a take on that. But besides, the Celtics are really good. Like, they're just whooping
Mm-hmm.
everybody and taking names since Jason Tatum has came back.
Yep.
So, yeah, but I'll let you
And
go ahead. My bad.
no, you good. I'm
And
glad you said
honestly,
that because
matter of fact, you can say the same thing about the Lakers and the Rockets. I don't really think that's, especially with Kevin Durant not being healthy. I think that
yeah.
series, in the way LeBron is playing right now, he had a rough game the other night when they lost, but the other 3 games he's absolutely playing like prime LeBron.
Yeah.
So like, if he comes with that, and I think they said something about Austin Reeves might be coming back. If he comes back, it's over, man.
Yeah. I agree. I think um back to the I'm with you with the Spurs and
My
the
bad. I ain't
Blazers.
mean to skip to
And
all the series,
no,
but
you good. You
I
good.
feel like
That's
this
right.
playoff series, especially the first round, always be kind of trash because you can feel the imbalance between like seed 1 and seed 8, which I guess we'll transition to that next about Detroit
Mm-hmm.
and the Magic. But yeah, I just feel like the first round of the NBA playoffs always kind of like suck, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think this year has been a little bit better because it seems like it's been more competitive because you got a lot of
Yeah,
series. You got at least 3 series that's going to 6. You know what I'm saying? Because you got Raptors and Cavs, which has been more tighter than or way more tight than I thought it would be. Y'all's series, like I said, is really good, and of course, Nuggets and Timberwolves is looking at 6. So, um, I mean, it's I like this first round. I'm with you too when you say Celtics and Spurs gonna move on tonight. The thing about this opinion, they're the way that they're extremely well coached. But if you look at the other night, Brown and Tatum didn't even really have a good Tatum bounced back in the second half, but Brown and Tatum didn't even really do anything in the first half. You know what I'm saying? That was all
no.
Peyton Pritchard in the bench.
Mhm.
So it's just crazy how good they've been because their expectation, me and you both said it, they was probably a playing team at best. They're the
Yeah,
second seed in the East, and moving forward, because we about to get in this next team now, they're gonna be the top seed in the East
yep.
because uh the Magic are up 3-1 on the Pistons, which first and foremost, I gotta say, Jamal Mosley, bro, you done saved your job,
You know,
brother.
say just job. Yeah, I was just thinking that because
you
before the playoffs, they were talking about firing him. I think he doesn't save this job on that end.
Yeah, and they suck, and I hope it's funny because they were like, oh, it don't matter what happens in the play in or in the playoffs, we gonna fire bro anyway. At this
There's no
point,
way.
bro, if
There's no way you can fire him right now if he
you
was
can't
just.
fire him,
Yeah,
the
no.
only, in my opinion, the only way that you fire him is if the Pistons come back on the 3-1
Yeah, that's the only way
and
you
they move
fire him.
on. That's the only way. But if the Magic win this series, you gotta you gotta keep bro, man. Like you can't, because this is unnatural. Like this is actually ridiculous. They would be, God, this would be the first time an 8th seed be the 1 seed in how long?
I don't
You know what
even
I'm
know.
saying?
It's been a long time. I
Because
feel like.
I think when we played the Heat in the finals, I think they were the 7th seed, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't even think they were an 8th seed that year. So I don't know when the last time an 8 is beat
I'm
a
gonna look
1.
it up. I'm gonna look it up real
Yeah,
quick. Go
yeah.
ahead.
Let me know. Um, But that's just that. I just think that's a great job on their behalf, and I think it lets you know how kind of tightly contested the East really could be. Or actually, I'll ask you this: do you think it's the East as a whole that's kind of weaker, or do you think that the Pistons just are frauds?
I think the Pistons are like kind of fraudulent. I think they're just
Okay.
inexperienced. Um, I think they're inexperienced. I just don't think. Yeah, I just think they're inexperienced, bro. Like I really just think that's what it is. They're inexperienced. I think Cade is still coming back. And actually, to correct you, the Miami Heat in 2023 was an 8 seed.
Oh, so they
And they
were an
played
8 seed.
y'all, so they was an 8 seed.
Okay,
Not
they
the
were.
AB2. I
Okay.
just looked it up though. But
Who did they beat? Who was the one? Oh, it was the Bucks, wasn't it?
it was
I
the
forgot about
Bucks.
that.
Yeah,
That's
Milwaukee.
right. Yep.
Yeah.
My
So
bad,
but
y'all.
yeah,
Yep.
man. Yeah, I think it's more so the Pistons. are dealing with some things as far as like, I don't think Cade is completely back to himself because he had like a collapsed lung situation, which is very serious.
Yeah.
And also as well, they're just inexperienced, bro. Like they've never been where they're at right now. So I think that's part of the problem too, as well. I don't even want to call them frauds. I think they're just a young team that's
Yeah.
just now really getting their bearings. You know what I
Well,
mean?
see, and my thing is, this is where I kind of have to. I'm gonna have to call them. I am gonna have to call them frauds because
Mhm.
the Magic only Desmond Bain has played in the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken, for
Yeah,
them.
that's true.
I don't think they've had. I don't think none of their other players have actually taken
That
the
is
playoff minutes.
fair.
So I actually do think the Pistons are frauds, and I don't mean no disrespect because I like Cade Cunningham and the boys, but I think like Jalen Duren hasn't played well at all this series.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not one of them that's saying that he shouldn't get no max contract because he should, but he got to play a lot better than this. 9 points after you averaged uh almost 20 in the regular season. That ain't gonna cut it. I think he averaged a double double in the regular season and he's at a triple single right now. That ain't gonna cut it, bro. You know what I'm saying? You got to give me more than 9 and 8 or whatever you giving me. I need in the playoffs, you supposed to rise, bro. If you want
Yeah,
your team to get over to the top, he should have been at 22 and 13. And I mean, I'm being so serious when I say that too. Like you gotta step up your game in the playoffs. So um I do think the Pistons are frauds if they can't come back and win this series. Because they
yeah,
still can. I don't
yeah,
think anybody, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think anybody's going down for them in the series. I think they're just getting beat. You know what I'm saying? So they can still bounce back. I think Franz Wagner actually for the Magic, I think he just popped up on the injury report, I think earlier today. Um I thought that's what I saw. Yeah, diagnosed with a right calf strain. So he probably not even gonna play tomorrow night. You know what I'm saying? So
mm,
that could be something that could bring help the Pistons get back in it. You know what I'm saying? Because the Magic gonna be losing one of their primary scorers, but at the same time, and we'll move on to NFL after this, but at the same time, the Magic are playing tremendous defense.
they are.
They're playing tremendous defense. That's how they're really winning this series. It's not because they outscoring the Pistons. They not allowing the Pistons to score at all. You know what I'm saying? They're not making nothing easy for them. So, but overall, man, I think it's been a good playoff run so far, in my opinion. And like you said, I'm with you. I think it's usually we see the first round not be as tightly contested, but we got a few good series right now that
Yeah,
I'm intrigued by. But
yep.
uh
Let's go ahead and transition on
yeah,
into to NFL. So the biggest thing this weekend was really, the NFL draft, of course.
yeah,
Um, Obviously we'll talk about the Panthers a little bit. But I kind of want to talk about winners and losers of the draft first and foremost. For one, actually, before we even let's get into winners and losers first. Let's go over the losers first because I have a few. Um, so we're gonna go over our winners and losers of the draft, and we'll kind of move on from there. And we'll talk about the Panthers a little bit too, because we know a lot of our people that listen to the pod, they're Panthers fans.
yeah,
Losers. I talked to you about this before the pod started. I think Jacksonville did an absolute terrible job. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't really a lot of their picks to me at least just didn't really, and I don't know if you feel the same way. It just didn't make a lot of sense to me personally. And I kind of want to read off their draft picks, but I thought Jacksonville had a horrible draft in my personal opinion. Let me
yeah.
read it off real quick. Um, so Jacksonville, hold on, let me move back down. Okay, so Jacksonville had so wait. Why is it
I
doing?
got you. I
Yeah,
got
go
you.
go ahead,
Good.
bro. Oh, I got it.
Okay.
I got it.
Okay.
My bad. So Jacksonville had Nate Brockkier. I probably said that name wrong. Texas A&M tight end. They took him in the second round. Then they took another Texas A&M player in Albert Regis, defensive tackle. Was a decent player, but not nothing, crazy. Then
Yeah.
I think this might be their best pick of the whole day was Emmanuel Pregon. They took him at pick 88. Then they took Jalen Husky, safety out of Maryland. I mean, again, decent player. Wesley Williams, He played at Duke. He was an all ACC honorable guy, but again, just kind of like a role player. Tanner, they took 2 tight ends. Tanner Kaziso, they took him in the 5th round. From Houston, again, just the guy. I hate to say it, like not trying to be mean at all. Josh Cameron actually was pretty decent. He was first team all Big 12 this year. Had almost 1,000 yards. He had 872 yards. CJ Williams from Stanford, again, just kind of just a guy. And in the 7th round, they took Zach Dupree, just a guy. And again, Parker Hughes, just a guy. So I thought they did a terrible job, in my personal opinion. I only one that kind of makes sense to me that I liked was Nate Rocktier was okay, and I would probably say Emmanuel Pregon was probably their best actual pick. But besides that, to me, I didn't like none of their picks. Secondly, I gotta do this to them because these my other boys, and we're gonna talk about this probably a little bit more in depth. The LA Rams had a god-awful draft. I thought they stunk it up, and you know why they stunk it up. They mainly stunk it up because they took Ty Simpson at 13. I thought that was absolutely freaking ridiculous. We talked about this on this podcast last week. You actually were like, yeah, the Cardinals talking about trading back up at the end of the first. I said, huh? Trading back up at the end of the first? Get who? Ty Simpson? And so when I seen that the Rams took him at 13 after Stafford just had an MVP season and they're in a win now mode, I was like, are y'all serious? Are y'all dead serious? You just traded your other 1st round pick for Trent McDuffie. That's fine. But to do that? No. You can't do that, bro. You can't do that right now. I'm sorry. Especially when it looks like Stafford is probably going to get, they're talking about he's going to get another 2 years extension. They're talking about, potentially. So it's like, he might not even be hanging it up next year. I don't know, man. I get the point of it, but let me kind of read off their draft. 1st round, Ty Simpson. 2nd round, Max Clare. I actually like that pick, but again, don't need tight ends. They're loaded with tight ends. They got 6 tight ends.
They do, and they all can play. They just took.
There was no point in making that pick. It's a good player, but dude, you got Ferguson, Davis Allen. They're loaded at tight end.
Don't they still got Kobe Parkinson?
Yeah, Parkinson, they're loaded.
Tyler Higbee, I think, still there too, right?
They got way too many tight ends, bro. Keegan Frost, decent player. Charles, decent player. CJ Daniels, decent player. Tim Kenley. These are just guys, unfortunately. Not trying to be funny. I thought the Rams had a terrible draft. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. I did not like what they did in the draft at all. I was not a fan. And I would say another loser in this draft, in my opinion, and I know me and you kind of talked about it a little bit before, I kind of didn't like what the Houston Texans did either. I wasn't a fan of what Houston did, and you know why I mainly wasn't a fan of what Houston did? Taking Wade Woodass in the 4th round to me is insane work. I'm not going to lie. Insane work. And as a Clemson fan, I'm telling you, I know what I know. Now, Keelan Rutledge, not a terrible pick from Georgia Tech. Actually was a dude that Clemson tried to get in the transfer portal 2 years ago and almost had. He's a really solid player. I'm not taking him in the 1st round. 2nd round, sure. 1st round, no. K. McDonald actually was a very good pick for them. I'll give them that.
That's their best pick.
Yeah, to me, that's their best pick. Marlon Klein from Michigan, again, 2nd round, just a guy. I'm not even going to try to say this dude's name. Fabichi Noawu from Oklahoma, just a guy. Again, Wade Woodass as a top 125 pick to me is crazy. And this is coming from a Clemson fan, which we're going to get into them in a minute. You don't take Wade Woodass in the 4th round. That's insane work. I don't give a damn if it's depth or not. That's crazy. They took him in the 4th round. Kamari Ramsey, I actually thought was a decent pick for them from USC safety. Lewis Bond, Colorado. I mean, not Colorado. Lewis Bond from Boston College, just a guy. Now, Aiden Fitcher, I actually thought that was a decent pick, especially in the 7th round. I thought it was actually a pretty decent pick. They took him in the 7th round. I just thought overall, I just feel like Houston could have did better. I feel like them 3 teams there just did not do well.
For a team that had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Houston had 8 picks. I like 3 of them. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the issue
Mhm.
is because I like the Rutledge selection. I'm with you though. If they had to did Kaden McDonald first round, Keelan Rutledge in the second round, I would have made a lot more sense to me. You know what I'm saying? But it don't matter because they got them both anyway, so it's all good.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
but like you said, that Wade Wood-ass pick in the fourth was just an extreme
Sick
head
work.
scratcher. Yeah, that didn't make sense. I thought the Kamari Ramsey pick was a great pick though for them.
Yeah, I thought it was a good pick too.
So for me, I tell you my biggest losers. Straight up. I'm with you. I think the Jags had the worst draft. They
Yeah.
reached like a mug. Like they had a horrible draft in terms of reach. I'm gonna tell you two other teams though. I agree with you on the Jags and I agree with you on other teams, but the two other teams that I hated in this draft, I thought the San Francisco 49ers had a terrible draft.
Yeah,
Like
they didn't do good either.
they didn't have a first round pick. Their first selection was Design Stribling from Ole Miss wide receiver. Good player. First pick of the second
That's
round?
sick
No,
work. Yeah, that's
absolutely
sick
not.
work.
Um, I thought Romello Height was a decent pick. Kalon Black was the third running back taken. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure
Matter of
it
fact,
was them
San
that took him.
Francisco, yeah, they might be worse than Houston
That
actually.
was a bad selection in my humble
Yeah.
opinion. Third running back taken, by the way, in the whole draft. I'm pretty sure,
Sick.
if I'm not mistaken. I thought that was a horrible selection. I think he's a decent player. I thought this running back class was decent, but in the third round, bro, nah,
Yeah,
man, come on.
that's crazy.
They did get Grayson Halton out of Oklahoma. I thought that was a decent pick in the fourth
Decent
round.
pick. Yeah.
You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And then all-time football name here, Ephesians Price Sock. You know what I'm saying? All-time football name. That dude, he ain't had no choice but to play football in his life
Right.
with a name like Ephesians Price Sock. So I didn't like San Francisco. I'm gonna tell you another team that I ain't like. I just saw them. Give me a second. I just saw them. Oh, in my opinion, Sean Payton and his smug self, the Denver
Yeah, I
Broncos,
ain't
bro.
like Denver draft like that either.
Let me tell you, you know Denver didn't have a pick until the third round, bro.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And listen, I understand you might believe in your team and you think your team is. I mean, y'all was ankle injury away from a Super Bowl appearance. You know what I'm saying? So I understand it. But dude, you got to take somebody at least in the second round if you don't have a first round pick.
Yeah.
Trading all you continue to trade back and going into the third. The players that they took, Tyler Onyedum, from Texas A&M, defensive tackle. Okay, fine player, sure. Jonah Coleman, running back, Washington. Cage Casey, offensive tackle, Boise State. The Justin Jolly pick, I thought that was decent for them at tight end in the fifth round.
Oh,
In
I
the
gotta
fifth
tell
round.
you about Justin Jolly. Yeah, I didn't know they took him. I
Yeah.
I don't want to put it out here on the pod, so I don't care. I'll put it out there. My barber, y'all know I live in Raleigh area, and my barber actually cuts a lot of like the NC State players' hair and stuff like that, like the football players. I meant to call you and tell you this the other day. I don't have so much going on, bro. But guess who was in there? Justin Joliet. He was in there.
Yeah.
Oh, what day was that? What day he got drafted? That was Friday. Was he a day 2 pick or day 3?
He was day 3.
So it was the day before. That Friday, he was in there because he had a party that night. And so
he thought he was getting taken on Friday.
He thought he was getting taken on Friday, right? So, Justin Joliet or whatever his name, Justin Jolie or whatever his name is.
Yeah, Justin Jolie or Jolly something.
I meant to call you and tell you this. I'm gonna try to get him on the pod. This breaking news, because my barber cuts his hair, and I got to chopping it up with him like shortly. It wasn't nothing crazy. But I'm gonna try to get him on the pod though. I actually talked to him on Friday. And he was cool. He was chill. Because at first I was like, dang, this dude is big. Like it was a bunch of NC State players in there. It wasn't just him. It was like 5 of them. All big. Okay. And I was like, dang, who y'all is? They're like, we play for NC State. He was like, that's Justin Jolie. He about to get drafted and stuff. And I was like, oh, the tight end. He was like, yeah. So I went over there and chopped it up with him briefly. Again, nothing crazy. But I'm going to try to get him on the pod, bro. I meant to tell y'all that. I meant to tell you that privately, but yeah, I'm trying to get him on the pod.
No, that'd be dope,
But shout
man.
out to
Yeah,
Justin
he
Jolito. I didn't know he was in Denver. I didn't know he. I didn't know he got drafted actually.
yeah, that was their best pick. That's what I was trying to say. He
Yeah.
because he had fell to the fifth. So that's who they ended up taking. But to me, that's that's kind of it. You know, that's really all I like for them. In that whole draft class. And another
Mhm.
team that I had on my mind too. Who I said San Francisco, Denver, and actually I think that might be it in terms of the people that I didn't like. I thought a lot of teams reached though, man. I was
Yeah.
really very unimpressed overall. Um I
Somebody was
think
saying they feel like it's the worst draft in years, like
I
talent
I
wise.
I wouldn't say I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna say that, but I think it's the worst draft in terms of how the teams approached it. I
Yeah.
think it's terrible. Cause listen, last year I had picked the first. I had all the top 10 except for Carolina. I really thought we was going Jalen Walker. We ended up going
Yeah.
Tedoroa McMillan. But everybody else, I was like, they got to take this guy. This year,
It
I
was
was wrong by the
random.
second pick. I
Yeah.
was
Yeah. It
wrong.
was
Yeah,
random.
yeah, I was wrong by the second pick, and I didn't get back right until God. I don't think I ever got back right. I mean,
Yeah.
I was really surprised by everybody. I tell you, I think Miami, I think their draft, I think they got a good haul. I mean, they got a bunch of players.
Yeah.
I didn't like the fact that they passed on Mekhi Lemon, though. I thought that was a big mistake
Yeah. I thought that was a big mistake too, as well.
for Caden Proctor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
for
didn't like
Caden
that.
Proctor, somebody that struggled with his weight. No disrespect, but
Of
somebody that
course.
struggled with his weight, and I don't know how I feel about that. But I want to kind of talk about the winners. We can transition into that now. I
Yeah.
wanted you to go first. How do you feel? Who do you feel like are some people like you like they draft picks? You like what they did?
Call me crazy, but you gonna be like, oh, this a cop out. But I'm telling you, the entire NFC South,
Yeah, no, I was.
everybody,
I got that on my list. I got that on my list.
really,
The whole NFC South,
everybody,
literally.
bro.
I thought the whole NFC South cooked. I was gonna say the same
Yep.
thing.
Yep, everybody in the South. I mean, they all. I know Atlanta didn't have a first round pick, but they paired Terrell with his brother. I thought the Zachariah Branch was a good pick for them, especially since
Yeah,
they need a wide receiver 2, 3, a gadget player like that. Um, Harold Perkins late. I thought they
yeah,
had a decent draft. I was very impressed. I hate to say it, but New Orleans knocked it out the park, in my
they
opinion, man.
did. They
They
did.
knocked it out the park,
They
man. I mean,
did.
they went crazy. I'll read off what they had. Jordan Tyson in the first round. Obviously, if he get the injury situation squared away, they got a dog there. Christian Miller, defensive tackle from Georgia. Oscar Delt from Georgia. Jeremiah Wright, offensive guard from Auburn. Bryce Lance, I thought was a sneaky good pick for them. One of the
Mhm.
Styles boys from Ohio State. They got the DB. Thought that was a good pick. Barryon Brown and TJ Hall. And then again, Tampa Bay, man. And I thought Tampa Bay probably had the best out of all of them. But that
Yeah,
Getting Bain at 15 was incredible value for them. That was a
very good
no-brainer.
value.
That was a no-brainer.
Yeah,
So I like I said, I think the NFC South as a whole had a really good draft. And of course, I do want to give a shout out to, in my opinion, for the second year in a row, Cleveland had a very good draft, in
hmm
my opinion. But that would be my teams. And of course, like I said, Carolina and NFC South too. But who
yeah.
who else did you have on your
I mean,
list?
same. NFC
Yeah,
South completely. I think the Raiders did a good job. Stoops in the second round, I thought was amazing value.
yeah,
Gerald McCoy, even though he got that knee situation, if that works out, that could be a Will Johnson situation. I thought he was amazing value. I thought them getting what's that running back? Mike Washington Jr. in the fourth round,
yeah,
really good value. I thought the Raiders did a really good job. I did.
yeah,
I thought the Raiders did a really good job. And like I said, I'm with you though, NFC South. The whole NFC South killed it.
yep,
Falcons, Saints, Bucks, Panthers, everybody. Everybody did a good job in the South. So I
yeah.
definitely want to give them credit. Yo guys, I thought the Ravens did. They always do well though. So I feel like I'm saying this every single year about y'all.
Mhm.
But I thought y'all did a really good job, especially with y'all first two picks. I've been telling you that O lineman
Yeah,
dude from Penn State, he's the best O lineman in the class, and like nobody was talking about him, which I thought was just crazy to me. Like I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, this dude's amazing. I can't say his name is Iona or something like that. I don't know what his name is.
Vega Ione. Yeah.
Iona, yeah, he's amazing. And then y'all doubled back and took Zion Young, who was
Yeah.
also a projected first round pick. So
that
I
was a
thought y'all did
fire
a
pick.
great job. And then y'all got Jacoby Lane as well, who I also think was extremely underrated. So again, Elijah Surratt. I mean, y'all really cooked in the draft, bro. Like I think the Ravens did which again, Chandler Rivers, like this, all these players are good. Like Adam Randall, like y'all got a bunch of good players in the draft. So I'm not gonna lie, I thought the Ravens had a really good draft too. So I want to give y'all credit. Caleb Downs to the Cowboys was good value as well.
Great pick. Yeah,
I gotta get the Cowboys credit on that. That was great value.
Listen, I think the Chiefs gonna be back. I thought they had a really good draft.
They cooked. Peter Woods and Delane back-to-back picks is crazy.
I didn't like that they traded up for Delane, but I didn't realize too that they, of course, they kept their first round pick, so that was good for them. So I guess they didn't really lose much. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't really hurting them for that. I don't think they gave up like a first next year or nothing like that to go up because they only went up 3 spots, if I'm not mistaken. So I thought that was a really good pick for them. I wish they had stayed at 9 and took them because I think they could have, but at the same time, great pick. Peter Woods, like you said, R. Mason Thomas in the third, or excuse me, in the second. Pick. I mean, they did a really good job in my opinion. But yeah, like I said, a lot of teams did pretty good, but at the same time, they kind of had to because so many teams were reaching and just giving them layups. You know what I'm saying? Like you look at the Jags. I mean, it's like, dude, some of these dudes y'all could have got probably on day 3. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or you could have at least got at a later pick.
Yeah.
But to reach so high and get these guys.
I didn't get what the Jags were doing at all, man. I thought they had a terrible draft. Like all of their picks was like, huh? What? Like, this don't make no sense. But yeah. Before we move to the elephant in the room, to stay on the draft, we didn't really go over the Panthers. We know they had a good draft overall, but let's just kind of hone in on them for like 5 minutes here, roughly. Okay. How did you feel about the Monroe Feeling? At first, I wasn't really caring for the Monroe Feeling pick, I'll be honest. Even though I think we talked about him last week on here, and I said he's a good tackle. Like, he's a good player. Like, I thought he was one of the better tackles coming out of this class. I think I said that on the pod last week. I didn't think the Panthers were going to take him. But I like the player. I didn't really care for the pick, though, which in some terms that might be good because I didn't want Teteroa McMillan last year, and y'all see how that worked out.
That's true.
So it might be good that I didn't want the pick or the player. But he's a good player though. Overall, I kind of like what he does. I love the Lee Hunter pick in the second round. Love. And I actually love the Sam Heck pick in the 5th round, the center, because I think he's the best center in the country. So I love Chris Brazel or whatever his name is. I like him. I like him as well. So I think the Panthers did a lot of good things. This Will Lee dude, I don't really know much about, but he seems to be like a physical corner, kind of similar to JC, maybe not on the skill level as JC, but kind of physical guy. So I think the Panthers did a pretty good job. But what you think overall?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you, man. I think I said what I said going into the draft because I didn't really care who the Panthers selected because I felt like we were in a good position where we could just kind of take somebody good. And what I said, what I asked for was kind of what I asked for last year, but I think this year was more broad. Last year I asked for a high impact day 1 starter with the first pick, and we ended up getting that. I assumed it was going to be on the defensive side of the ball, and I kind of had a list of players last year that I would like for them to select. Teteroa McMillan was on the list, so I'm glad that I was glad that they went with him. I was surprised, but I was glad that they went with him. This year, on the other hand, I said the same thing. I was like, I want a high impact day 1 starter. I didn't have no list though. You know what I'm saying? Because I assumed, kind of like last year, I was like, oh, it's going to be Omar Cooper Jr. or Casey Concepcion. Remember, we talked about this last week. I was like, it's going to be one of them 2 players. And then when we got to the pick, kind of like back in, 2021, I was like, oh, I really want, a corner. But then when I seen Justin Fields fall, I was like, oh, man, they about to take Justin Fields. And they took a corner, and I was a little bit disappointed. They took JC, you know what I'm saying? But this year, kind of similar. I was like, oh, we're gonna take a wide receiver. We about to take Makai Lemon. I thought we was about to take Makai Lemon. Um, and then when I heard him say Monroe Freeland, my first thought was, okay, great player, really
Yeah.
good tackle, like you said. He's gonna be something, but do we really need a tackle? Was the first thing that went in my mind. Because
Hmm.
I was like, everybody been saying, they've been saying for going on 6 years now that Taylor Moton is getting old and he ain't fell off yet. And I'm like, okay, is he really going somewhere? Like, what's happening there? I don't think that was really important. We signed, of course, we signed Rasheed Walker in the offseason. So I was like, okay, he's supposed to be kind of filling in for Icky until he comes back from injury. So, is really what I was thinking in my head was, where is this Freeland guy? Where is he gonna fit on the line? You know what I'm saying? What's gonna happen? Because I don't know how people feel about Icky. I think he's been really good. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think
I
that,
think this says more about his injury. That thing must be badder than what we
yeah,
think. That's what
it
I'm
must
thinking.
be. They must really be kind of really what it tells me is they think, because that's a patellar tendon, you know what I'm saying? So what it sounds like to me is, and this is what I would do if I'm the Panthers. Don't know how it's going to work with Icky because he's only ever played left tackle in Carolina. But are you going to kick him in the guard? You know what I'm saying? Now, if you do that, the thing about Carolina is the offensive line is the most expensive offensive line in the league.
Yeah.
So they needed to get cheaper and younger, is what people are saying.
Hmm.
Um, but my thing is, I wouldn't let a guy like Icky walk because he hasn't been bad. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? The problem is, I believe this is a contract year for him, and he's
Yeah.
probably not gonna play it. So that's where it gets kind of tricky because what you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? It's almost like you kind of have to let him walk, right? Because I don't know if you definitely don't pay him big left tackle money,
And you just
and he
drafted a
ain't
left tackle on
and he
top
ain't
of that.
played. Yeah, and
Yeah.
you just drafted a left tackle. So I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know what's gonna happen in with that situation. I don't know if they're gonna try to move Icky to right tackle. I don't know if they gonna, you know, I don't know what's gonna happen. But overall, at the end of the day, what I keep coming back to is what me and you've been talking about for almost dating back to last season. Or what I had been what I brought up to you dating back to last season. The reason why the Seattle Seahawks won the Super Bowl is because they built in them trenches, and that's what Carolina just did. And so, to me, I've seen a lot of people online on Twitter say this is a eat your vegetables pick. You know what I'm saying? You gotta eat your vegetables. Yeah, it's cool to, eat a cake every now and then and eat a, you know what I'm saying, eat some spaghetti or whatever. But you gotta get your broccoli in. You gotta eat a
Mhm.
salad. You have to. You don't have no choice. If you don't, you're gonna be in some trouble. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And that's what this pick very much was. You got to take care of your offensive line regardless of what kind of shape it's in. You can never
Yeah.
neglect it. And I very much, and I'm with you too. The Lee Hunter pick with the defensive tackle. You got to take care of your D line too.
Hmm.
Now you got two big, thick boys on your defensive line, all up in the middle with Brown and Lee Hunter. You know what I'm saying? So again, there's a lot of, I think there's a lot of things to like about this draft. Chris Brazzell was my favorite pick
Yeah.
because I had been saying it for a while. I was like, bro, ever since I seen what he did to Georgia when he torched them for like 200 yards and 3 touchdowns, I said, bro, I need Chris Brazzell in Carolina straight
Mhm.
up. And they went and got him. Burner. You know what I'm saying? He's a dude that reminds me a lot. I seen some people even say he's a Robbie Anderson type player. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? He gonna beat you deep. He's a burner. I think that was a good selection. The Will Lee pick, I was kind of iffy on because what's my Jalen Kilgore was on the board at the time, and I
Yeah.
really thought they was going. I thought they was going Jalen Kilgore, but I understand it. This is another kind of eat your vegetables pick. You can never go wrong with taking a DB, especially if they got some talent, because DBs go down all the time. You know what I'm saying? And that's really, I believe DB is the position that you usually keep the most of on the roster anyway, right?
Yeah.
So I understand it. I'm with you. The Sam Hick pick. We got I guess he's gonna be our starting center. We needed one bad. He kind of need to. And like you said, I think he follows Donald Trump on Instagram. So
you all right with me
need
there.
need one of them.
You follow Trump, you
need
all right with
need
me. That's my old lineman.
need the MAGA boys on the O line, boy.
Absolutely. I
Need the
need you
MAGA boys.
upset about Charlie Kirk, brother.
Yeah, need the
Yeah. I
MAGA
need my
boys on the
old
O
lineman
line.
back it up.
Yes, sir. Need the MAGA boys on the O line, bro. At least in the middle, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I need on the outside too. I was
Yeah.
kind of low key upset. They said something
The
about Freeland got a
Freeland
black
woke.
girlfriend. I
Freeland
said,
woke, bro.
"Oh no, man, no, that
Yeah,
ain't it,
Freeland.
partner.
That ain't
I
gonna
need
work,
somebody
bro.
MAGA." But Freeland,
That
I'm
ain't
just
gonna.
joking for real. But Freeland a good player. But I
Yeah,
like my old lineman MAGA up, man.
they gotta be MAGA.
Yeah,
Yeah,
support
man.
Donald Trump. I ain't
Yeah.
lying. I need my old
Oh
lineman
my God, I will vote. But but
Wait.
the Zaki Wheatley pick, I thought was a really good bounce back selection
Yeah.
as well. So overall, man, I think Carolina, to wrap it up, they took 7 players. I could see 5 of them starting this year.
I can see, yeah.
Or at least getting heavy playing time, which I think is very important. So yeah, man.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it as well. Now let's address the elephant in the room, and this is the last subject of the night. Clemson. This weekend, Clemson got put on blast by a few famous people. I think Plies had said something about like how does Clemson have all these players drafted and they sucked this past year. 9 Clemson players were drafted for the first time in a decade, tied for the most Clemson players drafted in one draft ever in the Dabo Swinney era. The last time they had this many players drafted was 2016. Was the last time, and that was like with Shaq Lawson, Kevin Dodd, DJ Reader that year. Clemson's first year going to the national championship against Bama when they lost like 45-40 or something like that. It was that year. And Clemson had 9 drafted players this year. And they only got 7 wins. And it was a popular subject this whole weekend on the internet was how did Clemson have all these players drafted and they stunk this past year? I think Penn State too as well was another team. I think they had like 7 or 8 people drafted and they sucked this past year, but they fired their coach.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm not going to get down that line again, but I'm just going to kind of give my take on the whole thing first. Seeing 9 players from Clemson get drafted this weekend absolutely pissed me off. I don't know how it made you feel. Like I was happy for the guys. Like Avion, that's my guy. Like me and him are actually friends. Like that's my boy. Again, Peter Woods, TJ Parker. You know, these are all guys that they're good guys. They're good people overall. Blake Miller, first O lineman in 66 years to be drafted first round in Clemson history in 66 years. Older than my mom and dad. Like, you feel me? Like, so it was a lot of game-breaking things happening. I'm not going to lie. Seeing all them Clemson players get drafted this weekend as a Clemson fan pissed me off because it showed me how much talent we had on this team. And we won 7 games. And I was so glad a person like Plies, who kind of has because I think he played college football for a little bit. So he kind of knows the game a little bit. And I was kind of glad a person of him, I wish somebody even more famous than him would have called it out. But I seen a couple of famous people saying like, dang, how did Clemson get all these people drafted and they stunk this year? And people are going to say, you're just this Dabo hater. You hate Dabo. You're just a Dabo hater. This is an indictment on William Christopher Swinney. You had 9 players get drafted. You couldn't even win 7. You couldn't even win 8 games. You had 9 players drafted. That is literally almost a full side of the football. And you could not win 9 games.
Let me add to this real quick. 10% of the top 50 were Clemson players.
10% of the top, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
10% of the top 50 players in the draft this year were Clemson players. And you couldn't win 9 games. This is an indictment on William Christopher Swinney. There's no other way to cut the cheese. You can say, oh, well, these guys didn't, because I've seen a lot of Clemson fans making the excuse of, oh, well, TJ Parker and Peter Woods didn't show up enough this year and da-da-da. Guess who's responsible for igniting that fire? Dabo Christopher Sweeney is the one that says, I pay you $3 million. Get to work. What are we doing? This falls up under Dabo and his coaching staff. And I was kind of glad that on social media on Saturday and Friday and Thursday, Clemson was absolutely getting belligerent. And I was glad because I had been saying this all year. This coaching staff needs to get crucified. And on this weekend, we seen it. They got absolutely crucified as they should. Dabo Sweeney, all those guys, everybody in that coaching staff deserved to get roasted because putting 9 guys in the NFL and you don't even get 8 wins. Bro, it was a list that I seen where there were like 6 teams or 7 teams that had like 8+ players drafted. Guess how many made the playoffs out of those 8 or 9 teams? Guess how many made it? Only team that didn't make it was Penn State and Clemson. The only ones. I think Penn State had 8. We had 9. Out of the teams with 9, we were the only one that didn't make the playoffs at all. Do you not know we had more draft picks this year than Georgia? We had more picks than Georgia this year. And we still ain't win but 8 games. 7 games, excuse me, not even 8, 7 games. You got to call Dabo Sweeney out, and I was glad that the country was doing that. And I think somebody even asked him like a day after the draft, like, you know, people kind of saying like, all these Clemson players getting drafted and y'all ain't really do nothing this past year. And then Dabo made up this BS like he always does and gave us the runaround. But I think honestly, this is like a do or die season for Dabo because I think the spotlight's kind of on him now. You put that many players in the draft, and again, when you look at next year, Clemson could be doing this again next year. Would it surprise you if they put 6 guys in early? Sammy Brown, Wesco, Moore. Would it surprise any of us if they at least get 3 or 4 in the first 40 picks? Will Hill, I forgot about him. Like, we might be doing this again next year with a 6-6 record. So then what happens? We might be putting 6 people in the top 50 picks again next year. And it still might be like, oh, yep, Clemson went 6-6, but Dabo put a bunch of people in the NFL. Like, it gets to a point, bro. Dabo got to be held accountable. I mean, that's just really where I'm at with it. He's got to be held accountable. I've been saying this for like 3 years now as I've seen the decline happening. And I think this weekend, and I'll put a positive spin on it for the Clemson homers. It is positive that you had a bad year and you still got 9 people put in the league because you can use that. Dabo can 100% go to recruits today and say, y'all seen we was trash last year and I still got 9 niggas sent to the draft. Dabo can I'm not going to lie. In a way, that's like low-key, like it's a bad flex, but it's a flex. We had our worst year under me, damn near, and I still put 9 niggas in the NFL. So if you want to come to the NFL, come to Clemson. So I'm going to put it in a positive spin for the Clemson homers. He could use this at his advantage. He could as a recruiting tactic because I ain't going to lie. I was happy to see all those guys from Clemson get drafted, but I also was like, damn, how did we not win more than 7 games? It just kept, every time I see a Clemson guy got picked, I just got more and more and more and more upset. And by the way, Cade Klubnik going in the 4th round is crazy. That might actually be crazier than Wade Woodaz in the 4th round. But I don't know. That's my take on it. I think Dabo needs to be held accountable. I think this is a big year for him. And I think if he flops this year, I 100% think he's getting fired. Like I've been saying that since last year. Like if he does another 6-6, 7-6 year, he will be unemployed at Clemson at least. He might be somewhere else, but he won't be at Clemson. I can guarantee you that because what's going to happen is the boosters are going to say, we ain't putting no money towards 7-5. We ain't putting no money. Iptate ain't going to put no money towards 6-6. They ain't doing that. I'm telling you they not. They not doing that. So I think it's going to come to a point where it's like, all right, it's either Dabo got to go or we ain't putting no money or the money stops. you do your choice. But that's kind of where I stand up. But how did you feel about like seeing all them Clemson players getting drafted? Like, how did that make you feel? And did it make you kind of like pissed?
Yeah, it definitely made me mad seeing that. Shoot, everything that you said basically is how I felt. I'm echoing all of that. 9 players drafted. I didn't even know it was that many. But yeah, 9 is. I mean, that's who had the most this year. Was it Ohio State or Alabama?
Clemson, it was. I think it was. Hold on, I'm about to pull up now. I think was
let
it
me know who had
Clemson,
the most.
Alabama, and Indiana? I'm gonna look it up. Hold on. I think 9 was the most though, or close to the most. But I'm gonna check it out first. So Clemson was up there though. Clemson was definitely top 5 teams. Oh, it was Ohio State. Yep, that's all right. I think it was Ohio State. I think Ohio State had the most.
Yeah, that's crazy. Embarrassing, man. Embarrassing. Bro, it's like you had more draft picks than wins this past season. That's it just reminded me of how Clemson should have won a national championship this past season. Or at least it should have been Clemson getting boat raced by Indiana in a national championship game. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. But yeah, man, 9 picks. And I'll be frank with you. I think again, this is kind of part where kind of ties back into what I said before, where a lot of teams was reaching. Wade Woodaz getting drafted in the 4th was ridiculous. He shouldn't have been drafted. You know what I'm saying? Maybe 6th, 7th round. I would have understood that because he is an athletic freak, but the tape is the tape. You know what I'm saying? Cade Klubnik, similar situation. 5th, 6th, 7th round, understandable. Midway through the 4th, man, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? That's a reach. I don't think he was on many teams' radars. You know what I'm saying? At that point in the draft, you probably could have waited, got him a little later. I thought the fact that Adam Randall went, I think he went last out of all the Clemson players, right? I was actually surprised by that.
He was.
I didn't understand that because I thought Adam Randall had a chance to go in the 4th or 5th round. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of teams are really enamored with him because he's so big and he's a former wide receiver. So you can catch out the backfield and he's fast. You know what I'm saying? So there was a lot to like about Randall. I was actually very surprised that he went last out of all them teams. And of course, him going to the Ravens is crazy because him and King Henry in the backfield can be disgusting. But I mean, again, it just ties back into Dabo Swinney, like you said, bro. If you couldn't get, I mean, you had 9 NFL players on your roster last year, and you couldn't get to the college football playoff. Like, think about it. You had 9 NFL players on your team at one time, and you couldn't make it to the playoffs. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? That is actually, you couldn't even win. You couldn't even make it to the ACC championship game. Yeah, that's crazy. I ain't gonna hold you.
I'm not gonna lie. Every time I seen a Clemson player get drafted, it pissed me off all over again. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. Every time I seen a Clemson player get drafted, I got more mad. I was like, really, Dabo? Like, really? Yeah. Like, you couldn't even get 8 wins with this? Like, come on, bro. And you always right. Ohio State had 11. They had the most players drafted. Give them kudos. Alabama and A&M were next at 10. Clemson comes in tied at 9 with Miami, who was in the championship game. Texas Tech, who also was in the playoffs. And then, like I said, Clemson had more picks than Georgia, playoff team. Indiana won the title. Penn State sucked, but had a lot of talent this year. I mean, it gets to a point, bro. You know, and I just hope Clemson fans hold Dabo's foot to the fire this year. And again, I don't have championship expectations for Clemson this year, but I'll tell you this now. When we do our little preview in the summer, when we rank our top 25 teams, I'll tell you this now. Clemson will not be in my top 25.
For what reason would they be on there?
They will not be.
They ain't gonna be on there. Nah.
They not in my top 25. They will. I don't care where they get ranked preseason wise. When we do our stuff in the beginning of August or whatever, Clemson will not be ranked. I'm gonna be honest. I'm just gonna keep it real again. I think Clemson goes like 6-6 this year, bro. Like, I just don't see it.
bro, we said it. We said it before last season. It was like, bro, this got to be. This is
This the
Clemson's last
year.
chance because next year,
This is
next
it.
year they gonna be. We knew that going into the season.
That's
I ain't gonna
why
lie to you,
last
bro.
year sucked so bad.
I'm saying they going 4-8. You know what I'm saying? Because last year I thought they was gonna be
4-8, 100% get Dabo's fired, right?
Yeah, probably.
If he goes 4-8, he's getting fired next year. That
It's
shouldn't even
probably
be a question.
at the very least, it's a Dabo, you got to retire
Yeah,
situation.
yeah, he's
You know
got
what
to
I'm
get
saying?
fired.
It's definitely. Hey, real quick before we close, I want to talk about two topics that kind of broke right before the
Yeah,
pod
go
started,
ahead.
and one broke kind of after we started. First thing I want to talk about is so the NCAA men's and women's basketball tournament has been increased to, I believe it's 76 teams. Going into, and that's going to be starting next year. They haven't announced exactly how it's going to work, but it will go into play next season. So March 2027, we're going to have 70 something teams in the NCAA tournament. Just give me your quick thoughts on it. I know, like I said, ain't no real details out about it, but just give me your quick thoughts on it. And
Why are you ruining one of the best sporting events of all time? Like that, I guess that's where I kind of stand. Like, why? Why are we doing this in the first place?
Yeah,
that's kind of where I'm at with it. I think it's stupid. It's almost like you might as well just let everybody in at this point. And that's kind of where I stand with that. So I just think it's stupid. But go ahead.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
You know? And again, I don't know, because I'm not heavily into college basketball like that anyway. So I don't know if people thought it was broken, but it didn't seem like it was to me. But at the same time, this would have made sense if they did this in like 2011, when smaller schools were able to get in there. What you see, bro? What's going on?
No.
Oh.
No, yeah. Go ahead.
I thought something had broke, but I was about to say.
No.
But no, if they had did this in 2011, about 15 years ago, when it was easier for smaller schools to be, because no Cinderella stories don't exist anymore.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So if you had did this 15 years ago, I would have been like, okay, that's cool. But now, I mean, these teams, these late, these lower seed teams, I mean, they getting beat up on now. You know what I'm saying? Now, some of them slip through the cracks and make it, but for the most part, they getting destroyed. Versus in years past, it was kind of a free for all. Everybody, had a shot. Now it's like it's the team who spend the most, or who's the biggest, or who's the oldest. You know what I'm saying? So again, if it's broke, don't fix it. I don't understand it. But and this is, to me, this is the big one right here. So this one broke shortly before the pod came out. So the NBA has disclosed to its 30 general managers a new anti-tanking draft reform termed the 3-2-1 lottery. All right. That includes expanding the lottery to 16 teams. Your face be so funny when I be breaking this stuff to you.
I'm like, wait, what? Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to start over. All right. The NBA has disclosed to its 30 general managers a new anti-tank draft reform new anti-tanking draft reform termed a 3-2-1 lottery that includes expanding the lottery to 16 teams, flatten odds in a regulation zone where the bottom 3 teams will be penalized with fewer lottery balls for the number 1 pick, starting with the 2027 draft. The league has held multiple critical meetings with its board of governors, competition committee, and 30 GMs over the past few weeks to narrow toward this new singular proposal ahead of the owners having a final vote on May 28th. It could be minor modifications, but the 3-2-1 lottery proposal is named to represent the number of lottery balls per team. And it would expand the lottery from 14 to 16 teams. Teams that do not qualify for the playoffs or the play-in tournament, but stay out of the regulation zone, spots 4 through 10, will receive 3 lottery balls each. All right, so basically, your teams 4 through 10 in the opening lottery odds, they would get 3 lottery balls. Teams with a bottom 3 record, the regulation area would have just 2 lottery balls. but have a floor of the 12th pick, while the rest of the 13 lottery teams could fall as far as the 16th pick. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess.
And then hold on, it ain't over yet. The ninth and 10th play-in seeds in each conference, they receive 2 lottery balls each, while the losers of the seventh
So your
and
best bet
set,
is to be mid if you want a first overall pick, just to get
yeah,
like 33 wins.
will while the losers of the 7-8 play-in games receive 1 lottery ball each. So basically, your worst teams in the league
Are
would
cooked.
get they would get the same amount of odds as the people that lose in the 7-8 play-in seed games.
So
Previous,
essentially, the bad is just going to stay bad even more.
but see, T, this is what and I heard, I'm gonna finish reading this. Previously, playing games received 1 lottery. Oh, excuse me. Previously, the league drew odds for just teams with the bottom 4 records in the league, while the other 10 lottery teams were ordered by inverse order. Under this proposal, all 16 teams will be in the drawing. So yeah, so if you even in the play-in, so think about a team like the Clippers. Well, they pick go. So the Clippers, they pick go to the Thunder. So the Thunder could have been #1 overall pick this year. They still can get it even
So bad
regardless.
teams
But
are just going to be terrible forever, essentially. Like Brooklyn, Washington, hang it up. It's
okay,
over. Like you're going to be terrible for the rest of your lives.
here go another thing. So in addition to that, no team would be able to win the top pick in consecutive years or be able to win 3 consecutive top 5 picks.
Oh,
Teams would
brother, this is terrible.
teams would also not be able to protect picks in the 12 to 15 slots going forward. Um, it says this includes a sunset provision so that the new system would expire following the 2029 draft and allow them to continue the system or transition to a new one. So it's going to be they're going to do it for 3 years, 27, 28, and 29. Um, they've also expanded disciplinary authority to regulate tanking, blah 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 blah. So so here's my thoughts. Or actually, if you want to get your thoughts first, let me
No, go
know. But
ahead, bro. Go ahead.
so here's my thoughts. I've been anti tanking for a very long time now. Me and you talked about this. We've been talking about this on the pod for a while. I think we broke it down like a fraction last year when we said, well, when I said I hated the lottery and I think it's the dumbest thing in professional sports right now. I think it's so stupid. All right. Everybody's always like, oh, well, the NBA is really easy to tank. It's really easy to do this, that, and the third. Man, these are professional basketball players, bro. They all want to win. You know what I'm saying? I understand. Yes, it's easier to tank, but you gotta levy these fines. You gotta punish these owners, man. If that's what you want to do, you gotta punish them because then they don't want these cheap billionaires. Look at the Trailblazers owner right now, which by the way is ridiculous. Look how cheap he is. He's so cheap. They not even trying to give Tiago Splitter a contract. They trying to pay him in they trying to pay him what I'm getting paid at work. You know what I'm saying? Like they they ain't trying to give Tiago Splitter. I'm serious, bro. They ain't trying to give Tiago Splitter nothing, bro. Like you got to punish these owners, man. You got to get on them and say, look, bro, if your team, if they going out there and they blatantly tanking, if you telling me that Giannis can play, if he's saying that they can play, and your head coach leaves him on the bench, that's $1 million right there. That'll stop the tanking right then and there because these owners don't want to pay that, not multiple times. But you sitting here telling me that the Brooklyn Nets, like you said, the Washington Wizards, the Utah Jazz, the Chicago Bulls, you know what I'm saying? You telling me that all these teams, they have no shot at getting better because they're bad? Yeah, I mean they're gonna have to fire a bunch of. They're gonna have to. The Bulls did a good thing by firing their whole staff finally, but you gotta. They gotta. The Kings, another team, they don't have no shot at getting better. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody's waking up in the morning. Man, I want to go play in Sacramento this year. I want to go play in Brooklyn when they can easily go say, I think I'd rather play in LA. I'd rather play in San Francisco. I'd rather play in New York, New York. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody doing that. Tanking, this whole anti-tanking thing is ridiculous. All right. Adam Silver, in my opinion, is the worst commissioner in professional sports. I think this right here proves it because he's very reactionary to issues that don't even exist. Look at the All-Star game. You know what I'm saying? What's wrong with East versus West? What's the point of even having conferences and divisions if you just gonna wipe them out? Look at the NBA Cup. What's the point? You know what I'm saying? Look at this new lottery system. Your worst team only gets a ball in there or 2 balls in there, whatever it is. Like, what are we doing? So how do they get better? I need
That's
that
my
answer.
point.
How do they get better?
That's my point. That's why I said I really don't have no input. Pretty much, if you're the Brooklyn Nets, if you're the Washington Wizards, teams like that, you are screwed. You're never going to be good, like ever.
Never.
You might as well just hang it up. Hornets, y'all might have just got out just in time.
They barely made it, bro.
Because I think if you're in like where the Hornets used to be at territory, Washington, Brooklyn, you're cooked. You're never going to be good. It does not matter. Yep. The only way you can look up is if you get a Giannis at the 12th overall pick or something like that.
Yep.
That's the only way.
I'm gonna tell you.
So that's all. That's my only take on it. I think it's crap. I think it's a terrible design. I think it's horrible, and I think the NBA is just they do stuff every day more and more to just make me lose interest in that sport. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not even gonna hold you.
I tell you, the only thing that I like about it is I will say I do like how you can't get the top pick in consecutive years. I think that's fine.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah, I don't have a problem.
I think that's fine. I'm even okay with I'm not okay with top 5 in 3 consecutive years. That's a stretch. I think if you said you can't get a top 2 or 3 pick in 3 consecutive years, okay. But top 5, you know what I'm saying? Because if you that 5th team, you out of luck. You really had to, I don't know, man. I just can't sit with this, man. I don't like it. What I think the NBA should do, straight up, go to a normal draft system and implement that you can't get the top pick 2 years in a row. You can't get a top 3 pick 3 years in a row. You know what I'm saying? There's ways to do it. You can do it. The math is there. You have AI systems and all of this stuff that'll help you do the math. You know what I'm saying? It can be done, but punishing teams for being bad and not giving them another way to be good or to at least attempt to be good, I think that's the dumbest thing you can do. And once again, Adam Silver is proving me right when I say he's the worst general manager or worst commissioner in sports.
He sucks. It used to be terrible. Manfred, but I feel like Manfred has actually did some things to improve baseball a little bit the last couple of years. So I would Adam Silver starting to kind of, and it's crazy because when he first came in there, everybody loved him. He was great. Now he sucks. Like
he changing too much, man. I think he and again, I understand. I mean, he couldn't keep the status quo because you kind of have to set your mark and make your mark on the league. But all of this change, a lot of this change hasn't been good. I'd say the only change that he's made that was been really good to me so far is the way that the All-Star game was conducted this year. I thought was pretty decent. I still think it was too complicated, but the product was at least better this year than years past. But again, it was a problem that he broke in the first place that he's trying to fix. So can't really give him too much credit for that. But anyway, I'm good, bro.
Yeah, man. Let's wrap it up right there, man. I don't have much to say on that. I just think, again, he's just doing too much, honestly, in my personal opinion. But we'll see how it works out. So again, if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead, hit a like on the video. Obviously, share this to your friends and family. Show us some love. We appreciate y'all. As always, Ken, was there anything you want to say before we end it out?
Nah, just y'all take care of yourselves, man. Be safe out there. Appreciate all the love and support.
Yeah. Oh, it was one more thing, real quickly. GTA stuff. Did you see they was responding to people today and stuff like that? Did you see that?
Yeah, I did see what you said.
Everybody was like, "Oh, it's coming up." And I just seen that's why when I made that face a couple minutes ago. TTG had said something like, I guess they put out some type of question. Somebody asked the dude at Take Two, like, what's up with GTA and the marketing stuff. and he was pretty much like, very soon y'all gonna be getting something.
Oh
So
yeah. He already TGG said he said May like 12th or something. He thinks something dropping. I think it's a Tuesday.
hopefully, man.
So
I think they said they got a like an earnings call like the 21st or something like that of May.
around there.
So
Yeah.
I think somewhere up in there we getting something. Hopefully trailer 3.
I think it was
we'll
today.
get trailer 3 and potentially pre-orders.
Yeah, pre-orders definitely on the way soon. I think the earnings call was today. Right?
No, is it? I thought it was an earnings call on the 21st of May.
It might be in it's in May. It's in May. You're right.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. It's an earnings call in May, and that's when we're gonna get something when that drop. So we'll see.
Well, they need to hurry up.
How anticipated that game is, bro. Like that shit.
It's been about a year since we seen anything.
Bro, I'm gonna have to just look at the screen for like 10 minutes and be like, bro, we actually got GTA 6. I'm really just gonna sit there before I even play the game. I'm just gonna sit there like, bro, we actually got GTA 6. Like, what? Yeah, that's gonna be crazy. But anyway, all right, y'all. We'll holler at y'all next week. Peace, love, and happiness. Y'all have a good one. Take care of yourselves. We'll see y'all in the next episode.